You start with introducing yourself. I don't know the people that came before you or after you, but you have to introduce yourself because it's not a volleyball crowd for sure.
It was not. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
yeah. So there's a joke there. You look for some connection with people and then you start off, you try to hit your points and then to come back to the start. So it was interesting for me to have a volleyball coach doing that and to debunk it a little bit. Is there some structure behind that? Or do you get a manual or a medic statement or something?
Yeah. No, it was a very challenging process. Yeah. For your European listeners, because on a few levels, first of all, yes, you have this very finite time frame. They say 12 minutes, 8 to 12. And with the intro and all the rest of it, I think I ended up at around 13. So you really have to be very conscious of what content you're putting in the talk. So the thing that's challenging is what are you going to put in? And maybe more importantly, what are you going to leave out? And then in addition to that, yeah, you have this finite time frame. And so everything is very measured in terms of what you're trying to speak to. But also you have to deliver it in a way that seems organic, that seems like you're just up there chatting away versus delivering it rote from paper or whatever. And maybe the last thing that was a challenge was so many of the TED Talks are about really specific content from high-end experts. I don't profess to be an expert, but I was talking about something that everybody, well, it's not everybody, most people have an opinion about, and that's sport. If I was talking about some really small particular area of brain surgery or something, I could say whatever I want. No one's really going to refute that. But making general statements about sport and coaching and maybe the value of sport, it was also another consideration. So yeah, I could have spent about a month working on it in addition to what I was doing with my job and all the rest of it. But I was reworking it the day that I was giving it. Yeah, it got to be finished about 2 hours before I delivered it. Yeah.
No, really. Like, because
Yeah.
to me, it really seemed like, because also in the end, I took some concise notes, by the way, but it's just not because I
Yeah.
like you know, but just because I like this stuff. It was,
Yeah. And it wasn't that I was winging it. It was more like again, just trying to get the structure right and the format. You've got the ideas. And so it's just, how do you want to deliver this? And how does this make most sense? And then the other thing that was, important was then you've got to get to the event itself. So it was a really diverse group. We had a young actress she's just won an Emmy Award for a show on Netflix. There was a guy that did a TV show on tree houses on the Discovery Network. Someone who's been to space a couple of times. She was 6 months on the International Space Station. There was a lyrical poet that was giving his speech. There was a guy that was talking about using robots to colonize Mars before humans get there. It was all of these really heady, interesting people. And then you got the coach talking about whatever we talk about. So it was a very diverse group. And the setting was outdoors because of COVID. So we're out in the middle of these woods. And so the other piece, just to go back to your question, the other piece that you have to get, I think, whenever you're delivering any kind of content is you have to get the temperature in the room or in the wooded grove in this instance, and be able to speak to the people and get a feel for the energy and how you're going to do it. And I didn't really figure that out until I got there. And then I was like, okay, this is how I can intro. This is how I can segue in. This is how I can, and then get into the content.
no, yeah,
Yeah.
that's like how you recap it now. Like, I'm even more impressed. In the end, you were like more like a priest, even. You're, no, listen to me. You're like, at the moment, you're saying trustworthy coaches are going to lead with character and integrity. They're going to be credible sources of knowledge and information. They're going to be this, they're going to be that, they're going to be this. Getting a rhythm going that everybody's, all he's saying is super true, but I'm still processing what he just said. And he's already saying something else great. This must be awesome. I really thought that you had so much help and there was a copywriter. And so, yeah, more respect to you that it's not.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I was very fortunate. They did connect me with someone that had done TED Talks before, and I had probably 3 meetings with them just to talk about structure and content, and just a couple of Zooms to figure it out. And that was really helpful. But at the end of the day, it's your message. And they tell you beforehand, they're like, hey, we're going to give you this opportunity. They asked me about 5 or 6 years ago to do something, and I didn't really have anything to say at that point. But now that our kids are in youth sport and I see how that whole thing works, I was like, man, I got something to say now. But they're like, hey, we want it to be either your best talk or your worst talk. So they just kind of let you have at it. Hey, either crush it or not. Just here you go. Here's your chance.